Check. Check, check, check. Hello. Hello. Alright, where are we at? Well, this is the question I always ask. And where we're at is... Duh! We're on the next shot. The next shot... Oh, you don't remember the last shot? Oh. Let me pull that up real quick. Boom. Pulling up my portable blender so we can look at where we are at. Okay, so oh, I guess we'll go back to this shot, or even earlier. How about here? Yes. So we are creating an anime. Okay, so that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and just kill Blender. And so now what happens is Zen turns to go ahead and cover up Akari. So that's where we're at. That's what we got to do. Our task is clear. Clear, I say. And it's going to be good. By the way, today I watched Your Name. And oh my goodness, I blubbered like a baby. I'm telling you what. I had heard. Well, actually, what led me there was learning about this guy. Okay, Masayoshi Tanaka. I thought, man, I really, really like this guy's art and animation. Excellent, just top shelf stuff. Well, it turned out he was peripherally involved with Your Name, which I literally had never heard about until yesterday. And was not, apparently had some conflict, some other project, and wasn't super involved with Your Name. And so anyway, in this, as I learned this, what I learned was that Your Name was like, I don't know, it was the best-selling or most box office or something. It's like top anime movie. And so today I thought, we'll check it out. We'll see what this Your Name is all about. And oh my goodness, what a cool story! I'll tell you the most ironic thing about it is that back in 2011, I produced a film. I wrote and directed a feature film called Out of Time, which was done for the Parables cable network, if you will, and which is like a faith and family platform. And so actually this movie, which I'm not going to say is like the greatest movie ever, but I'm going to, if you wanted to see it, however, you could see it. Let me just pull it up here. And I'm going to look at, I'm at parables.tv, and I am looking at movies. I guess I could pull this down here. And again, this is faith and family type material. Drama, it's probably under drama. Oh, brother. Okay, it's not showing up. Family, no, it's not going to be there. It's going to be short film suspense. I'll bet you it's under suspense. Well, let me just look it up. I'll look it up this way. Out of Time was the name of the movie. Anyway, when I, after watching, okay, so, so my movie, Out of Time, which they paid me to produce, and they own, outright is not showing up in their, is not showing up. That's pretty weird. That is pretty weird. So I have no idea. I wonder why. That's very strange. But well, let's just say it was a fairly low budget movie, and maybe they just decided it's not as good as some of the stuff they've gotten in the last few years, because this was done back in 2000, I think 10. And okay, I'll take that. My point was that this particular story would have been a really, really good anime. Really good anime. It's anyway, whatever. Back to work. Okay, so when he gets here, he's got to go. Okay, let's go ahead and finish blocking in the the pencil test here. And I think what we'll do here is we'll have Akari sort of move into it a bit. So now that's kind of embarrassing, I have to admit, for me to tell you guys that I created this movie, and it was part of a 6-picture deal. These were really, really low budget movies, like under $50,000 type budget for everything. I mean, to write it, direct it, produce it, pay the actors, everything was less than 50 grand, which is ludicrous. Of course, nobody makes a movie for that little money, but I did. And so the movie was a little cheeseball for sure in terms of the execution, but yeah, I'm a little bit curious why it's not even showing up for them anymore. But like I said, it might be just the reason I said they might have just, as they've gotten more expensive movies in the last few years, and they may have just sort of downgraded it, and that's understandable. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you can actually, the trailers here, the trailer is here on my YouTube channel somewhere, and so yeah, the film I'm talking about is this one. It's called Out of Time. So and you can find the trailer, but I mean, it's just a really cool it's a cool story. So if you want to read the synopsis here on YouTube, you could pause the video right now. Okay, so anyway, but I'm seriously thinking about adapting it into an anime. Parables owns the movie, but I own the the constituent intellectual property, such as the characters and the script and all that, right? So if I want to go repurpose it in some other way, I can certainly do that anytime I want. And like I said, I think it would actually be better as an anime than it was as a film. Okay. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, but let's just play with this. Let's say Akari's going to step into this a little bit. So let's say she steps forward a bit. Okay? Boom. All right. And I think what should happen is I'm going to give this 3 keys. So this is kind of an interesting thing. You don't see a lot of people do, I think. Maybe you do, but I don't know. I'm going to say let's just create the keys in advance, just because I know I'm going to want them. So, and what's going to happen right now is Akari's going to turn around. Okay, so so we'll just go ahead and I can just, since it's already selected, I don't even know why I kept selecting it, because once the selection's there, you can just keep hitting the erase button over and over. So now let's hit Control-Shift-A, so nothing's selected. And now all I'm going to do is, if you can believe this, what I'm going to do is draw her ear. The reason I'm doing that is that her head's rotating around, her body's going to follow, but to sort of map out the timing, the easiest way I can think to do that is actually just to track her ear. See? Alright, so now, in Akari's case, the initial drawing, which won't change through here, okay, we want her little bun thing. I don't know what you call that thing she has in front, but I'm calling it a bun for lack of a better word. Alright, so here's Akari, and we'll put some circles where her eyes would be, but we're not going to worry too much about her eyes at this point. But we want to see where her pigtails are. There's her ears. Okay, so when we ink this, I'll only have to draw this one time, so there's no need to redraw her really even up to there, because even this is going to be the same shot, just moved over a little bit. So I only need to redraw her once I get to this point. So let's go ahead and draw her once, so at least we know what we're working with and what we're going to wind up inking later. So, okay, makes sense? All right, so there's Akari. Should we put in a little detail with the eyes? Her classic trapezoidal eye thing she has going on? I think so. So anyway, Your Name was just such a good movie. I mean, I'm glad I watched it. Very touching, just a great script, great animation, great everything. Unbelievable picture. Let's hit the erase. Sort of clean this up just a little bit, and I sure am falling in love with Akari. I really love this character. The more I see, there's a lot of stuff I know about this character that you don't know. Okay, I kind of know the arc of where the story's going. You might think this is just a guy dinking around on YouTube, and it is, but there really is a lot to this story. This story of Akari is, I've used the term epic. It actually is a fairly epic story. That just from what I'm doing here, on YouTube, you really can't appreciate how cool this story is and where it's going. And I'm not the writer. My partner's the writer, and it's really kind of her project in the sense that I've said this in other videos, but when I've made films, I kind of do everything. I do the editing, I do the directing, blah blah blah. In this case, I'm sort of subjecting my creative vision to her, and for me, that's part of the fun. It's part of the challenge, the collaboration of that. And but yeah, I mean, she's got way more than one episode mapped out. She's got several episodes basically written, and the whole arc of the greater story is essentially plotted. And it's cool. It's cool the way Your Name was cool. Now, can we attain to those sorts of production values? Honestly, I'll tell you the truth. I think from a writing standpoint, we can do that quality. From an animation standpoint, come on, I'm still learning. I'm still learning, and I mean, it's probably sounds completely ridiculous to even suggest that we could come to the level of a property that was just as amazing as Your Name was. So feel free to not take me seriously. That's fine. But as some of you know, I'm basically spending this year really grokking the animation process, and I'm determined to get good at this. I really am. It's just one of my goals, and so far it's going well. And it's actually the reason why I've been using Krita so much, is just because I've been getting good results. I never was married to OpenTunes, but for a period of months, it seemed to be the best thing for me, the best tool in the toolkit, But lately, it's kind of been supplanted by Krita, and my attitude is I don't care. To me, it's just whatever works. Some of you guys have said, "Hey, how come you're not using Clip Studio Paint?" Well, as far as I can tell from this, I mean, what does Clip Studio Paint do? It's great for painting, and it lets you do frame-by-frame animation. What's Krita good for? It's great for painting, and you can do frame-by-frame animation. As far as I can tell, it's very close to parity in terms of the feature set. Now, the latest Clip Studio, and feel free to check this out if you're into it, but the latest Clip Studio may have some better features in regard to being able to parent layers and maybe do some translations and maybe some keyframe interpolation. I don't know, Amar shot me a message and said I should check it out, and I may get around to it. I mean, I have Clip Studio. I didn't get the pro version. I just got the cheapo version because at the time I was thinking, you know what, I just want to test it. So if I'm limited to only 1 second of animation, that's fine. I don't care. It was just something to look at. And I very much did not like it. I didn't enjoy the interface. Let's see here. I better check something while I'm thinking about it. Well, actually, I guess I already saved this. I saved this as 136, so I guess I've got the number right. So let's just keep rocking, because Akari's got to turn around, and so we can put the old blankie. Well, it's not really a blankie, but okay. Let's pull out and kind of see what the action's feeling like. Look at that. So what I want to do is I want to have him put this over her. Did you see what just happened right there, by the way? You see when I'm scrolling through it, we're not seeing the last frame. The reason for that, that's important to be aware of with Krita, is you need to play it once. Because when you play it, these little gray bars, well, they turn gray. Okay, see now the frames are cached in memory, and now when I scroll through it, it'll show that last frame. So that's just something to be aware of. Not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so now one issue. I guess I was going to say we need to draw her body, but actually we don't, because it's covered by the garment, right? Okay, so this is what we see, and again we got the same situation here. I only have to draw this once, because from here on out that's going to be a static shot. I mean, I can trace it just for kicks, just so I see where it is. Okay, so now this is going to be a bit of a tricky move, and I can see it's probably going to be important to have Zen and Akari in separate layers, just because there's going to be a different set of keys that get held. So let's just try a couple things here. I don't like that. Let's set the center point here and maybe have him lean into it a little bit. Okay, that's fine. So now let's hit the S key. This is when you're just trying to map out keys. A lot of times this is a really good way to do it. You just hit the S key and then the A key to animate, and this way I can actually animate the components here one little piece at a time. Now I'm going to hit the B key, and I need to hit Control Shift A so we don't have a selection, because that selection's keeping me from being able to draw. Save early, save often. Okay, so now why don't I do this right here? I guess right there we'll go ahead and indicate his body, but again that's going to be a repeat, so I don't need to draw it over and over. My sense is that one more key here would be useful. So I'm going to go ahead and take Zen, hit the A key to animate, which is actually the free transform tool. I have it mapped to the A key for the simple reason that the animate tool and the free selection tool in OpenTunes that I got used to, those were the hotkeys, so I figured, well, let's just keep the hotkeys the same. Alright, and in this case, I'm going to maybe something like that. Okay, B key, Control Shift A. Okay, let's just make sure we like what he's doing. Okay, I would say that should probably be held for a second, not a full second, but okay. Let's just do it here. Okay, stop. Got to rewind. I had the same problem again. I need to play it once so that I actually am dealing with the same the same picture that I meant to be. Okay, and then here we're going to go like this. Again, all we're trying to do here is sketch it in so that we can see what we're going to have. Okay, so now I'm hitting. I also have these hotkeys set the same as OpenTunes, which is comma and period, which goes previous keyframe, next keyframe. Okay, so I'm going to go one more. And as long as we're here, what I want to do is get that like that. And then I'm going to take Zen's arm. That's going to be rotated down and out just a little bit. So obviously there's some redrawing here that probably ought to be done. But basically feels pretty good. And then he can... let's do it like this. Let's take this, rotate that out, and then hit enter, control shift A, B key. Now I'm gonna just indicate his hands being open. Okay, so this is actually frankly kind of tricky. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the E key to do some erasing, and I'm just erasing so I can clean this up and see what I'm working with. And also I'm going to turn the onion skins off. They're actually more distracting than anything at this point. Okay, so right here, just the indication of what's going on with his arm. I don't care about making the pencil the right dimensions. Okay, so what I think should happen here is when he lets go, I think she should lean into it. Okay, so let's take her out of this drawing, and we're going to have a few more keys of her. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this in a very sketchy way, just to get her coming around. So there's her ear again. And we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to map this based on her ear, and then here. So what we'll do is we'll get Akari turning around, and then we'll deal with Zen, because Zen's going to move as well. So I've got to really map out two different pieces of animation. What I find, what happens is when I make my brush bigger, instead of trying to get it back to the original size, I always just click a new brush and then back to that one, and then it's correct. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is just blocking in Akari. Okay, so now I'm going to actually flip this around. So now she's back. There's her little bun thing again. Okay. Alright, now let's go back here. And so right here, there's the little bun thing. So, get it? So this is what Akari's doing. And of course there's going to be a little secondary animation there. I may wind up moving her down a little bit lower, by the way. Okay, so now, as soon as she starts moving into it, I want him to move as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take him, everything but that arm, and we're going to lean it back. Okay. Yep, and then right here, okay, we need to play this through so it caches in memory. Okay, alright, so now, this shot can be completely eliminated. Let's just get rid of it. Delete. Delete. Alright, Control Shift A. Okay. And the reason I did that is that now I want to go ahead and turn Zen around. So the key thing here is his shoulder. Alright. And I should think he's going to stand up a little straighter. Okay, so I'm going to deal with the bones at this point. Just how are the bones moving? Hand, hand, hands down below the view now. Bicep. Alright, and then here I would say control insert, select, kill that, and then this is where he's gonna come to his full height, and we're gonna see his pecs, and essentially now we're seeing this is how Zen rolls, because he is going to protect her. Okay, so getting every little detail right at this point is not important. What's important is that the motion feels good. Alright, so let's just make sure he's looking intimidating a bit. Okay, so right here, well, there's a real danger right here actually of, I want him to rise up to his full height, but I've made him just a little too big. So I want him to be up, but I don't want him to be big. So Control Shift A. Yeah, and so now he turns and, to face his opponent. Okay, so that's feeling pretty good. How long are we going here? We're pushing a half hour. That's not too bad. Okay. You kind of have to know your anatomy a little bit to do this stuff, I must say. I'm fortunate in that regard. I've always been pretty good with anatomical drawing. Okay, and of course I don't know why I have this gap here, because that shouldn't be there, since obviously at this point he's bare-chested, bare-backed, right? Oops, didn't mean to do that. I better save my work, by the way. So just because, I'm going to go in and clean that up. It's just kind of an important detail. I mean, knowing me, I could see me going through and, okay, by the way, that's a bad way to do erasing if you don't want to introduce chatter. Here's the smarter way to do it. Hit the S key, select what you want to get rid of, and now just hit delete, and then toggle back through the keys and just keep hitting delete. And that way it's an equivalent deletion on every single frame, and you're not going to have animation chatter. Alright, so save that, and then let's hit the... Okay. Okay. So now it looks to me... Again, save early, save often. It looks to me like we're definitely not long enough, and indeed that is the case. I'm going to actually spread this out to 120. Boom. Okay, and let's come back here. Okay, probably going to need another key here, but let me just see how this feels. Let's play it. Okay. Yeah, again, I would say we're going to definitely want to put them on two separate layers, because I think I'm thinking now that he should probably turn later. So if we're going to do that, is there a way we can do that sort of cleverly here? I'm going to try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and just move it downstream. Okay. And then I'm going to copy these back here. Okay, if you can believe this. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go, and this may backfire, but I'm going to try it. Okay, so let's delete Zen out of this shot, and this shot. Okay, because we've got him here. And then back here, we've only got this one we have to fix. So let's just see if it'll do a cut and paste for us. Control C. This is where Krita, yeah, Krita sometimes is stupid. This is something I've seen before. When it comes to taking a selection out of an animated, you know, I'm just trying to copy this into the previous frame, and for whatever reason, Krita doesn't want to do it. So that's okay. I'm just going to hit my eraser. Oops. Now it's acting like it did, but Zen's not in there. So, yeah. So this is where Krita can be a little bit funky. Let's go here and just keep doing what we're doing. Alright, so there's a selection. We can't have a selection, otherwise we won't be able to draw. So let's just get her motion correct. And now she's going to stay put. So this pose right here is the one that's whacked. Let's get rid of it. Just erase it out of there. And now Zen's motion is fine. Yeah, see? So she'll turn around and then he'll turn around, which means this pose here is what we want to duplicate. And again, this is where I've seen Krita act a little bit silly. Let's give it a crack. I'm going to hit Control X and Control V. Okay, that worked, and then I'm going to hit Control E to just immediately bake it down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control V again, and it won't work. Okay. However, maybe, yeah, this is a really problematic thing, actually. Let's take that out. I mean, I can live without it because I know that the drawing of Zen's just going to be repeated, so it's not like I really need to see it in there. But the weirdness with cut and paste is definitely a little strange. Let's see what happens if we go like this. Okay, maybe we can do it this way. And now hit Control E and bake it down. Okay, think that worked. Ah, come on, stop it, Krita. Jeez. But see now, yeah, now that's baked over. So let me change this. Let's hit undo. Okay, so the thing I need to do is go right here and hit insert, because that puts in a blank keyframe. Now if I bake it down, he'll be in all these shots, but we'll be back to normal in these. So, it's one of those things that it's like I solved it, and I'm not even quite sure how I solved it. So, no big tragedy. Okay, so we'll have to sort of address the turning around motion of her body as well, obviously. But I think we're in good shape as far as the timing and all that. So, save early, save often. Alright, so now I'm going to just kind of put the shape for his hand, and obviously, let's just turn on the onion skin so I can trace it. Might as well, you know, it's like quit fighting it, and we'll just trace it and call it good, right? Okay, so turn that off, and just a little indication of where his eyes go and stuff. So reasonably happy with that. Okay. Okay. And do you draw nipples in an anime? I don't even know. I just don't know. If anime have nipples. That's something I probably should research. Okay, so at this point, got to get rid of that little bit of business. And let's rewind and see how it feels, okay? So let's hit the save button. And we'll just click her here and see how this feels. Alright, I'm going to hit the N key so it's actual size. And I'm even going to go into full screen mode. So here we go. Boom. Okay. In my opinion, right there, she's starting her, she's actually doing her turn too soon. Right there. Okay. So I think, wait, there it is. Okay, so that's the first one. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to hit the Alt key. I'm just going to bump these up to like 68. Okay, and then probably this seems to be happening a little too quickly in my opinion. So I'm still hitting the Alt key so that it ripple edits the keyframes. Yeah, not bad, not bad. I actually think he should wait a little longer before he turns, so let's just bump that up to... Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's actually super interesting. I did not know you could do that. That's funny. Okay. Okay, that's really interesting. What I just learned is that you can drag the keys, which I know is going to effectively drag the drawing from one layer to another. I didn't even realize you could do that. So that means, see, if we turn this one off, see, we still see it. Okay, so why is that really cool? That's cool because the situation I had earlier where I was trying to split these guys off, all I need to do is add a new layer, duplicate the keys like that, and then erase one person in one layer and the other person in the other, and then bake them together. So now I know how I'll deal with these timing situations next time. That's cool. It's always fun to make a new discovery, right? Okay, so he puts the garment over her, then she turns, and then he turns to face his opponent. And the whole shot is 120, yeah, 120 frames. So that means that we're talking 5 seconds. So I thought Valerie was walking into the room. Gonna show her, since she's the boss on this one. I am a little concerned about the timing here at the end. Boom. Nah, I think it's pretty crisp. I think that's probably good. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to close this down a little bit. And then I think we should delay this motion just a little bit. So let's do that. He puts that on her. And then, yes, there, that feels good. All right. Okay, so that's the good news. The bad news is, folks, I'm not going to do the ink and paint right now on this video. It's been 40 minutes. Getting the pencil test done, I think, is good. And now I want to take a little break before I come back. And I may yet do the inking tonight, but not right this instant. So with that, I will say, as I often do, that, as you know, there will be more later.